Am I the asshole? For buying a cake a child behind me wanted? Throwaway account. My pregnant wife first messaged me at the end of my work shift that she had sudden cravings for cake, and I was more than happy to get her one. Unfortunately, as this was close to 6 p.m., the bakery only had a Swiss roll left in terms of cake. As I was selecting a few other breads, a mother and her daughter came in, and the girl noticed the Swiss roll in the display cabinet and shouted that she wanted it. However, I had already ordered it, and when the worker took it out for me, the girl started screaming and crying. The mother did initially ask if I could leave the roll for her, but I said that I ordered first. She then began getting extremely demanding, saying that I didn't need to eat it, can't you feel for a kid, how selfish, etc. It only stopped with the worker said that I had came first and ordered it before the mother and daughter had even walked in. I got home and told my wife the incident. She said that I was a bit of an asshole for not giving up the cake for the kid, and that she would have understood if the store had no more since I did buy other sweetbreads, or I could have gone to the supermarket instead. She also asked why I didn't tell the mother that I was buying it for a pregnant wife with cravings. I didn't see the need to share private info, but wife said that maybe the mother would have understood, and that I appeared to be insensitive by sticking to ordering first as my argument. We did end up enjoying the Swiss roll and she told me not to worry and just be more mindful next time, but I can't help but feel a bit guilty. Was I the asshole for denying a kid a cake she wanted? Not the asshole. This stuff pisses me off. What are you teaching your child with this kind of behavior? That they can always have what they want and are so special they can deprive someone else of it even if they got there first? If you wanted to, you would, but if you don't, well, it's life, isn't it? We don't always get what we want. The mother's reaction is very telling as to why the child behaves that way. Not the asshole, you were getting your pregnant wife something for a craving. I can tell you that I did a ton of driving and impromptu runs during both pregnancies when my wife had cravings. I did it because I wanted to and knew it would make her happy. I may be being petty, your wife is kind of an R for calling you kind of an R when you were making a run for her. It isn't like you were nasty to the kid or anything like that. Not the asshole. The mother needs to work on helping her child deal appropriately with disappointments and problem solving. The child was disappointed about not getting the Swiss roll and naturally became upset, but there are ways to soothe and even problem solve after realizing the cake was already spoken for. The mother arguing about the cake sets a negative example for her child. She could have told her child the cake is already sold and asked her, do you want something else here or do you want to wait and have a treat another time? Not the asshole. Children aren't magical wands, converting guilt into things you want. Just because the mother was worn down doesn't mean you have to, as far as you knew, disappoint your wife. Now if the kid had 3 days to live and the Swiss cake was her final wish because her father invented them and died in a horrible baking accident and she just wanted to remember the good times, well, then mom can explain that context. Not the asshole, but your wife is wrong. Never jade with demanding people. Never justify yourself, argue your point, defend yourself, or explain yourself. No is a complete sentence, just move on. Not the asshole. Depending on how young or neurodivergent the girl is, she should know how to behave. Her mother was TA for demanding you to give it to them and getting riled up. I can understand where your wife was coming from, but the mother's behavior is inexcusable and incredibly rude. That was your cake and your choice what you did with it, she should have respected that. Not the asshole. First in, first served. The mother is enabling her daughter's tantrums and missed the opportunity to teach her that sometimes you have to face disappointment. What is she teaching her? That all you have to do is scream, insist, guilt trip and people will give her what she wants? Not the asshole. People with kids that try using them to manipulate others are the worst. The real problem is her kid's a brat who starts shrieking I want and she's too spineless to resist. Not the asshole. But time for serious chats with your wife about how you are going to raise this baby, because if she thinks kids throwing tantrums is a reason to tell strangers they need to give up things, then the rest of your life is going to be miserable. Not the asshole. Too many parents think society owes their particular kid something. I don't blame the kid. She was being a kid. It's the mother and her entitlement that makes CTA. You don't need to explain yourself to entitled strangers who can't teach their children how to handle disappointment. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. You were never winning that one grief from a child's parent and your own wife. TBH, you should have said, hey look love, I managed to get the last Swiss roll, and not mentioned the child. Jesus bloody Christ. Why the hell is it that some people think it's for the children is an excuse for entitlement? It's not. Life is full of disappointment, and Sally's life isn't going to end if little Sally doesn't get today's wants satisfied. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. The mother was acting like an entitled brat, just like she is teaching her child to be. No, you are not. That being said, the mother's reaction and attitude is clearly why her kid was screaming over a cake in a store. So ridiculous, my mother never would have done that and would have walked my butt right out of the store for acting that way, lol. She's basically teaching her kid to be entitled, which is not what this world needs more of. I'm happy that you brought the cake home and enjoyed it with your pregnant wife. Congratulations, BTW. It sounds like you had the cake and got to eat it too. Not the asshole. Your wife needs to chill. You had literally already ordered the cake. Life isn't fair, and that mom isn't doing her kid any favors by telling her the world should bend to her will. Nata. Pregnant wife or not, if she wanted it that badly, she should have gone sooner. And if a kid is having a screaming crying tantrum over no cake, the parenting needs some work. Not the asshole. Fuck that. Kid needs to learn they can't have what they want sometimes. And the mom wants you to change your order? She can go to Ray's supermarket and buy her crying brat a Swiss roll cake. Not the asshole. People really are so entitled. If you get there first, you get first pick, that's life. The mom missed an opportunity to teach her kid a normal life lesson. Not the asshole. This was a chance for the mother to teach the kid how to deal with disappointment. She failed, not you. Happy cake eating. Not the asshole. Sounds to me like the mother needs to do some mothering. Poor kid, yes, but it is the mother's fault, not yours. Also, no need to share private information with a stranger, and no need to explain yourself. Not the asshole. First come first served, and there's no reason to have to explain yourself. If I was feeling like it, I may have asked the shopkeeper to slice a bit off for the kid, but not if the mother had kicked off like that. Also a bit surprised your wife called you an R over this. Maybe send her for her own cake next time. Not the asshole. The mother squandered an opportunity to teach her child how to cope with low-stakes disappointment. You did nothing wrong, and your wife shouldn't have called you a bit of an asshole. Not the asshole. You don't owe anyone anything, especially not the child. If anything, the mother is quite an asshole for thinking you need to bend her way. I hope your wife enjoyed the cake. If I was suddenly faced with the decision of placating a toddler tantrum or the pregnant wife, I would always choose the wife. Not the asshole, but the mother was. Not the asshole. That parent is failing their child in a huge way. You were there first, you ordered it first, it's done, it's yours. Letting their kid throw a fit, and then getting rude when you said no is unforgivable. Your wife is sweet for trying to be so kind, but you did absolutely nothing wrong, and people like that need to learn to take ownership of the fact that shit happens. Not the asshole. The mother should have said they sold out, so we will order one tonight and pick it up early tomorrow. However, if you throw a fit, you will not get any cake at all or something like that. The mother had bad parenting skills.